Good morning, Clarence Valley. It's Bill North here for Clarence Media. Welcome back to Council Q&A. Last night we had the first ordinary council meeting for Clarence Valley Council, and joining us is the Mayor, Ian Tiley.
Good morning, Bill, and good morning to all your watchers.
No worries, thank you. And yeah, how did you find yesterday's meeting? Quite efficient.
Well, yes, that's one word, I guess. I was very pleased with the way that the team of councillors worked together through the day. They were very collegiate, and we took some important decisions, which we'll talk about, no doubt. But yes, it was the first meeting of the new council, first full meeting, and in Maclean, and I thought that it went very well. Mm-hmm. It just seemed like much more, made it look easy. You went through the business papers, ticked them all off, which ones were going to be spoken about, and off you went. That's known as calling the business paper, and I've been doing that for a very long time as a mayor, and it enables the councillors, where they all agree on something, to just adopt those items by consent, and then we focus on the important issues that require debate. And I think yesterday there were 33 items, and we probably debated 14 or 15. Mm-hmm. So that's an efficient way of truncating your meeting on the one hand, but making sure you focus on those important issues.
Yep. And even the preparation process a little bit different now, without the two committee meetings that were previously held on the Tuesday before?
At an extraordinary meeting in January, we decided to change the meeting cycle process, and the reason for that was to try and better inform the councillors, and bear in mind there's 4 new ones. Let them ask all the questions that they have on all the items on the Friday morning before, and they feel less inhibited to do that in that sort of a more informal session. It's run by the acting general manager. And then that afternoon we went out and we inspected the development application matters, actually physically inspected them. Mm-hmm. And that too helps you ground truth the issues. And I felt that the full day Friday was very beneficial in terms of the ultimate decision making, and the councillors exercised their power to make decisions at that duly constituted monthly council meeting.
Okay, great. And also some new committees are being formed as well?
Yes, most committees are being reformed, but there are 2 new committees that the council determined to establish yesterday. One is a biodiversity committee, which is dear to the heart of the Deputy Mayor, Greg Clancy, but the council supported that. And we're also concerned, given the loss of the Tourist Information Centre at South Grafton, that we wanted to step back in to the tourism space. We're establishing an economic development and tourism committee, and Bill Day, as you know, the former TIC officer, is very strong on that. But we just want to engage with professionals in tourism to help us to better promote tourism, because it's a big industry for the valley. And the council yesterday, the team was really keen to do that. So we now go to the process of expressions of interest for all committees. Mm-hmm. All positions are now vacant.
And so these committees are not just made up of councillors?
No, definitely not. Mm-hmm. Yesterday we apportioned councillors, and that was done really, really well, I thought, very collegiately. A chair and another councillor in most committees, and the 2 that the council that were nominated by the council will determine which one of them will be chair, whether they might alternate the chairing or whatever. But no, we go out and we seek expressions of interest from the total community, and that's really important. The council doesn't possess all the knowledge. We need to get external input. This is also about transparency, about openness, about doing things differently.
So previous committees didn't have this sort of structure with external people on them?
Yes, they did, but some of them had become a bit tired. One committee that we didn't reform yesterday was the Aboriginal Advisory Committee, and that was at my behest as a volunteer in Aboriginal communities over the last 20 years. I wanted us to go back to base, to go out and consult with the various Aboriginal communities in this valley, and there's nearly 7% of the people of this valley who are Aboriginal. So let's get out. We're going to go out and talk to them about how they'd like this committee to work, things like representation issues, how and where they meet and so on. So we'll go to the 5 Aboriginal communities in the valley, plus we'll go to corporations, land councils and the like, and resurrect that and give direct access for the Aboriginal people of this valley to the council. Okay. My personal view is that the Mayor and the General Manager should attend those Aboriginal Advisory Committee meetings without having a vote. You're observers only. They make the decisions. We take those decisions back to council for consideration. Okay. So that's what we're hoping to do in that one.
All right. And so back to, we're talking about tourism. It was revealed that the Visitor Information Centre has been sold. Was that
yes.
a bit of a surprise to some of the councils themselves?
It was. I asked the Acting General Manager in January to provide an information report on the status of that matter, and Mrs. Black came back and told us that it had in fact been sold. So therefore we didn't have any options to unwind that without obviously facing some considerable costs. So that particular horse has bolted, Bill.
Okay, and there's no indication what that site will, who's bought it or what it potentially will be?
I don't know that. I don't know the price. And really, that's commercial in confidence, I guess, for now, but it will come out eventually.
Right. One of the things that was voted on as well was a third position on the review for the acting general, or for the general manager.
Yes.
And gender equity came to play.
It did. We were conscious of, or we'd been alerted to employment equal opportunity provisions, and we felt that it was important for gender equity that the third council or nominated person, bear in mind that the Office of Local Government guidelines indicate that Mayor and Deputy should be on it. So we appointed a female to that position. From memory, I think it was Councillor Toms. And now the Acting General Manager will appoint her nominee for that four-person review committee, and it will meet early March. Yep. And we'll review her performance.
And interestingly, actually, all three of the female councillors did nominate for that committee.
They did. I thought they'd be a bit more organised than that, but anyway, we got through that okay.
One issue brought up was put on the table was the rural lands mitigation.
Yes, that's an intended 20-year plan to safeguard the rural lands of this 10,500 square kilometre valley. There's some important. It's an important policy that we want to see comment on, because 69% of all our lands in the valley are rural. They're rural 1, rural 2 or rural 3. Another 6% are conservation lands. So 3/4 of all the land in the valley is, if you like, rural farmland, and we want to preserve the quantum and the quality of farmland. I've talked, for example, to the cane industry. They have really serious concerns about ultimately losing so much cane land that the mill becomes unviable. So they're really keen to support the policy. It'll address other issues such as red tape in rural farmlands and the like, but I'd encourage everybody to get hold of the policy and to have a good look at it. It's about our future in this valley.
And does it re-emphasise as well Council's stance on not supporting industries that are non-renewable or fossil fuels?
I can't tell you offhand, Bill, but I would presume that that's a natural corollary if you're protecting your rural farmlands. But we've got a what's it called? Sorry, I've got a mental block. The solar panels. We've got a solar farm. Yep. Sorry, and up where I came from, there were probably 15 of them on the go, and you've got to locate those where they're not on riverbanks, where they're not visual eyesores, but there are appropriate places to have them, and we need renewable energy. It's a no-brainer. Ultimately, if we're to get rid of fossil fuels over time, that's what we have to do. But this policy, I believe, you make a good point. I believe we should go to that and consider that.
Okay. All right. Well, thanks for joining us, Councillor Tiley, Mayor. Hopefully, this is a monthly occurrence.
Yes. And, I'm looking forward to talking to you the morning after each council meeting.
Great.
I'm really concerned that all the people know what we're doing on the one hand, and if they've got concerns about what we're doing, we want to hear from them.
Yeah, no worries. And Council Q&A will happen every week, where we do catch up with the Mayor after every meeting, and also the other councillors during the month, and other sideline commentators. So stay tuned. and thanks for joining us.
Thank you, Bill, and thank you.
Scrolling nothing every day. We gotta unplug, recharge, and